René Higuita. Most goalkeepers try to avoid danger. René Higuita looked like he was actively searching for it. The Colombian goalkeeper played football like the rules didn't apply to him. Instead of staying near his goal, Higuita constantly ran into midfield, dribbled attackers, and took insane risks that terrified his own defenders. Sometimes it worked brilliantly. Sometimes it became a disaster, but nobody played like him. And then came the moment that made him immortal, the scorpion kick. In a friendly against England, Higuita casually blocked the ball by jumping forward and kicking it with his heels behind his back. It looked completely ridiculous, and somehow, it worked. Even today, it remains one of the strangest moments in football history. Higuita didn't play like a goalkeeper. He played like a man who got bored standing still. Thomas Müller is one of football's greatest mysteries because visually, he doesn't look elite at all. He isn't particularly fast, his dribbling looks awkward, and technically, he often appears uncoordinated. Yet somehow, he destroys defenses constantly. Müller's movement is so unusual that Germany literally invented a word to describe his role, Raumdeuter, which basically means interpreter of space. Instead of beating defenders physically, Müller simply appears in the perfect position over and over again, and defenders still can't explain how he does it. That's why Müller feels weird. He looks like a normal player until you realize he has won almost everything in football. Mario Balotelli. Everything about Balotelli felt chaotic. His goals, his interviews, his decisions. Nobody ever knew what he would do next. This is the same player who once set fireworks off inside his own bathroom. The same player who wore a shirt saying, "Why always me?" after scoring against Manchester United. And somehow, that perfectly summarized his entire career. Balotelli could look world-class one week and completely uninterested the next. Managers constantly lost patience with him, but fans never stopped watching him because chaos is entertaining. And Balotelli may have been football's greatest source of chaos ever. Jorge Campos. Jorge Campos looked like he was designed in a video game. Bright neon kits, acrobatic saves, ridiculous energy. But the strangest part? He didn't just play goalkeeper. Sometimes he played striker too, and not as a joke. Campos genuinely scored professional goals during his career, which sounds impossible today. Modern football is far too specialized for this kind of player to exist anymore. But Campos didn't care about normal football logic. He wanted to entertain people, and honestly, he succeeded. Garrincha might be the most naturally gifted dribbler ever, but physically, his body made almost no sense. One leg was shorter than the other, his spine had deformities, and doctors reportedly believed he shouldn't even play professional football. Instead, he became one of the greatest players in history. Defenders knew exactly what Garrincha wanted to do, and it still didn't matter. He dribbled past players repeatedly using almost the exact same move every time. The crowd already knew what was coming. The defender knew what was coming, and Garrincha still got past them anyway. He played football with pure joy, like he genuinely didn't care about tactics, systems, or structure. Only entertainment. Zlatan Ibrahimović. Zlatan doesn't behave like a normal footballer, or honestly, a normal human being. Most players try to sound humble in interviews. Zlatan spent his career talking about himself like a mythological character, and somehow his ability almost justified it. Impossible volleys, ridiculous bicycle kicks, goals that looked physically unrealistic. Everything Zlatan did felt dramatic. Even his movement looked aggressive, and while many fans found him arrogant, others loved him for exactly the same reason, because modern athletes are usually trained to sound robotic. Zlatan never felt robotic. He felt completely unpredictable. Luis Suárez. Luis Suárez was one of the greatest strikers of his generation, but he also had one of the strangest careers ever, because somehow, he bit 3 different players. 3. Nobody can really explain why this happened, and that's exactly why it became one of football's weirdest storylines. But what made Suárez fascinating was the contradiction. He could produce moments of genius and moments of madness almost simultaneously. One second he'd score an impossible goal, the next second he'd create complete chaos. Football has seen many great players, but almost nobody combined brilliance and insanity quite like Luis Suárez. That's what makes football unforgettable. Not just trophies, not just statistics, but personalities. The strange players, the unpredictable ones, the footballers who made the sport feel chaotic and human. And honestly, football would probably be boring without them.